Chastity Hartle. For the last 15 years, I've had various roles at a local financial institution. In the past 3 years, I've had the privilege to help hundreds of people take control of their financial situations. Stress truly is the silent killer. It's not only going to affect you emotionally, but it affects you physically and mentally also. Now, it should come to nobody's surprise that the leading cause of stress is money. It doesn't matter how much money you make. If you manage your money day to day, you understand. If you have somebody else who takes care of all the bills, please thank them. Managing money is stressful. So let's talk about what's keeping you up at night. Are you overwhelmed by debt? Desperate to make ends meet? Worried that you don't have enough in savings in the event of an emergency? Frustrated at the thought of retirement? Or concerned that you won't be able to help your kids with college? The first thing you need to do is get serious. And if you have a partner, be honest. Know exactly where your money is going is the first step that you can take. One of the things that we suggest is track your spending for the next 30 days. Every penny. Where is it going? After you've tracked all your spending, go back and categorize them. Such as these are household items, childcare, transportation, whatever you want those categories to be. And then add up each category. See where you're spending your money. Keep in mind that where you're spending your money is really what you value. When you look at this picture, you may think twice about where you're spending your money. This is a great place where you can determine what changes you want to make. Your next step is to get organized. Now's the time that you're going to put together your budget. I like to call it a spending plan because that's really what it's going to do. You're going to dictate where you're going to spend your money. One of the things that a lot of people like to do is figure out, what's my goal? What dreams do we have? What responsibilities do we have? And their budgets or their spending plans are focused right there. You're going to have to put in your monthly income, and then you're going to put in your projected expenses. How much do you think you're going to spend in food? How much do you think you're going to spend on your car loan? Then afterwards, you'll be able to see how much money that you believe you'll have left over. The next step that you're going to do is actually put in the amount that you spend. So for instance, your auto loan should be the same as what you projected. It's a fixed expense. The food, on the other hand, many people are surprised at how much they actually spend. If your biggest concern revolves around debt, it's time to get real. We need to make a list of all the debts that you have. Start off with listing what type of debt it is. Is it a student loan, mortgage, credit cards? Whatever the debts would be, make sure to make a list of them. Then you're going to put down how much you owe, what the interest rate are on each one, and then finally what your minimum payments are. After you've put together your budget, you'll be able to see where you have extra cash or where you can find extra cash each month by spending a little less in one of the categories. What you want to do is there's a couple different approaches. One's a snowball, where you start with the smallest balance and you add that extra money to the minimum payment. Of course, in the meantime, you're paying the minimum payments on all of your other debts. The benefit of doing the snowball is you get quicker gratification. You're paying things off and you're seeing progress. The downside is if the interest rate on another debt is higher, you may end up paying a little more in interest. The second approach is called the avalanche. What you do is you take any of those extra funds and you're going to add that to your monthly payment on the loan that has the highest interest rate. The benefit to that is that you're going to pay less in interest overall and save some money. Regardless of whether you use the snowball or the avalanche approach, as you pay off your first debt, you're going to take that entire amount, that minimum payment and the extra, and add it to the minimum payment of the next loan that you want to attack. If this overwhelms you, get help. Call your local financial institution. See if there's someone there that can help you set up a plan, give you some guidance, help you be accountable. The biggest thing I hope you understand is that you're not alone. Many people have had these struggles and come out the other end. There is a light, but you have to start today. Stories are powerful. I'd like to introduce you to Kendall Parle, who's been there, done that, and finally found financial freedom.
Hi, my name is Kendall Parle, and thank you, Chaz, for that wonderful introduction. And like she said, I'm here to tell you my story, and I'm hoping to give you hope. My husband and I, we were underneath, like she said, a mountain of debt, and we thought we were completely normal. We had our home loan, we both had vehicle loans, we had student loans, we had a boat loan, we had credit card debt. Pretty much any type of debt that you had or that is out there, we had. The only thing we didn't have was medical. But in the end, that ended up totaling over $98,000 of debt. And when my husband and I looked at that, it was tough. It was very hard to see that giant negative number staring at your face. And it was really something that took a while to overcome. But when we looked at where we were before, stressed, not sleeping at night, exactly what Chaz was saying, suffering from migraines, all those things, all those physical symptoms, they were real in our lives, and we had to deal with them every day. And it was something that we had to do. Our aha moment came, like I said, about a year and a half ago. And it was a time where we didn't think anything was wrong. We thought we were completely normal. And a few months kind of came and went, and one bill popped up and then the other. And we knew we were behind on our bills a little bit, but didn't think anything of it. And the day that was very tough and very humbling for me was the day that I got contacted that our power was being turned off the next day. And to know that my husband and I were married and making great money, but that we didn't manage things right. And that was a Tuesday. We get paid on Friday. So it was the moment where we had to decide something had to change, or we were going to be without power for several days. And so luckily, I was able to call my parents. They bailed us out. But it was a moment that I said and vowed that I was never going to do again. The day that my parents bailed us out was a day that was very humbling. And we vowed to never allow that to happen ever again. And from that point, we decided to drastically make some changes. I'm someone who really enjoys reading and picked up any type of financial literature book that I could, because I knew that what was happening was not okay. It wasn't acceptable to me. And so like Chaz was saying, the first thing you have to do is to create that budget. The first thing that we did was to start recording our spending. And this was a very eye-opening experience for us. We never did that beforehand. And there was even moments where we'd be at the grocery store and we'd spend $200 on food for just my husband and I for the week. And when we actually wrote that number down, we kind of thought, well, we might be able to work with that a little bit. But it was just moments after moments of those experiences that really helped us to start to prioritize our life and start to prioritize our spending. My husband and I always had the dream of being able to retire early, but how we were living our life was definitely not a reflection of that goal. And so we had to get real. And that getting real was a lot about our communication. When we tried to talk about paying our bills in the budget, it was usually always a fight. And there's a lot of assumptions that him and I had about one another that we just never talked about. For example, growing up, my dad always took care of the bills. He took care of the budgeting. He was the one that was the main breadwinner of the house. And now when Joe and I got married, he's not necessarily the most, well, I should say that I'm more of the budgeter in the family. And I just always assumed that it was his role because he was the man, even though it was my strength. So it was a lot of those moments of discovery that we had to do. We had to have those hard conversations just to start to break down the barriers that we had, really just break down that hatred for Fridays or for the weekend, because we got paid and it was time to write the bills out, but we always knew the bills would make a fight. So we had to get over that and start to dream together, start to put our priorities together, and really start to come together as a couple. I always kind of just assumed that my money was free for all and I could do whatever I wanted with it. And it was his responsibility to take care of all the household expenses. So it was just a lot of those things that we had to come together on and to talk about and to agree upon. And talking about the budget and planning a budget really helped us to get there, because we started to dream together and we started to put the plan in place that made it become a reality. And one of those, the first thing, was to get rid of our debt. And so we had to make a lot of hard sacrifices. It's paying off debt, it's all numbers. It all seems simple, but in actuality, because it deals with the emotional side of you, it's a challenge. It's not easy. You get tempted with every single time you walk out your door, or anytime you log onto the internet, there's ads, there's everything out there that's bombarding you to buy something, to spend your money. So one of the biggest sacrifices that I felt like that we had to make was really our fun money, our date money. We used to go every single weekend on a date and didn't necessarily care how much that date cost us. So when we put together the plan on how much we were putting towards debt, you started to look at the other numbers, and it ended up dwindling down, and it was $12 every week for dates. So we got creative, because $12 is not a whole lot for two people to have a night out of town. So that was really something that we did, and like I said, we got creative and we just came to terms with it. And because it was something that him and I both wanted to do, we were okay with it, and we both had creative ideas, and it became fun, became a game for us. Another challenge that we experienced was definitely the peer pressure. For us, we were lucky that it wasn't too bad. When our friends and family knew what our goal was and what we were doing, they were supportive. But before that, when we had to, before we told them what was actually going on, they were a little, I guess, disheartened or, just curious as to why we declined invitations to dinner or vacations or, just golf course trips. I mean, just different things like that. But once we took that step to tell them what we were working towards, so kind of swallowing that big humble pill and share with them, then they were supportive, and they helped us, by not asking us to go on, a trip to Mexico with them or just different things like that they knew would cost us a lot. They were, okay when we wanted to get together, and instead of going out to eat, they came over to our house for dinner or different things like that. So that was definitely one of the keys, was to get over my sense of pride and sense of I'm an adult and we're doing fine, and say, okay, no, this is really the heart of the situation. Another thing that I did that really kind of became a game was couponing. And it's not for everyone, I totally understand that, but the way that I looked at it was free money. The manufacturers were giving me money to spend on the product. And I wasn't necessarily a crazy extreme couponer, and I didn't buy things that we weren't going to use. I just bought things that I knew we were going to use or anticipated using, and when they went on sale, I bought them at that time and stocked up, rather than waiting till we were absolutely out of it and paid full price. So I had a coupon binder and would take it everywhere with me, and even to this day I still do when I go grocery shopping and shop off the sale ads. But I do want to brag a little bit, because my best shopping day was getting, I saved $98 and some odd cents, and then paid $3.82. And that was just at one of our stores here on, personal, hygiene products, a lot of shampoo, conditioner, things like that, that I knew we were going to use. But that felt really good to leave the store and say I only spent $3 and I saved, almost $100. So that was really fun. It was, definitely a game for me. If someone would have asked me a year and a half ago if I believed that we could pay off $98,000 of debt, I would have told them absolutely not, no way. But I'm here to, tell you and to give you hope, and, being on this side of the tunnel or of the path. Just like Chaz says, you're not alone. You can ask for resources, and to just know that you can get out of this. You can accomplish whatever dreams you have, whatever financial destiny you want to create, because you absolutely can.